Hello, welcome to Animori. Today we will explain a Japanese manga series, UQHOLDER. Warning, spoilers ahead. Proceed at your own risk. Evangeline McDowell starts the story. Evangeline McDowell remembers her all-girls school professor, Negi Springfield. Evangeline is a vampire, which makes her immortal because she can't age. Sorcery, not being bitten, turned her into a vampire while she slept. After school, she becomes Yukihime, an elderly woman. She takes care of Tota Konoe, the 14-year-old grandson of Negi Springfield who lost both his parents in an accident. Tota and his companions intended to climb Tokyo's tower. They meet a man who teaches them high-level magic to realize their dream. Unknown to them, he taught them magic to capture Yukihime. Each of them gets a bracelet. Tota offers Yukihime a bracelet as a gift, but it seals her power. They try to catch her and finally beat her after a few days. They quickly learn that the man who taught them is an immortal hunter who wants to catch Yukihime for a prize. Tota was shattered during the battle with the hunter. Tota, who seemed dead, came up just as the hunter was ready to beat Yukihime. Yukihime explains she made him an immortal so he can't die. The next day, Yukihime takes Tota to Tokyo, which he is over the moon about, as he now has the chance to make new friends. Later on, he finds a waterfall and decides to take a bath in it before going back to the countryside. At a waterfall, he meets Kuromaru Tokisaka and brings him to Yukihime. Attacking Yukihime reveals his true character. Kuromaru survives Yukihime's counterattack. His immortality surprises her. Yukihime wanted Kuromaru to fight Tota and then fight her. Kuromaru fights and wins. With a new comrade, they travel to Tokyo. He explains Tota that Kuromaru's demonic heritage makes him asexual. He's neither masculine nor female till he's 16. Tota wants to collect all immortals to fight for humanity. Immortals greeting Yukihime interrupt him. Yukihime tells him she's already done what he proposed by building a UQHOLDER with immortals. Tota and Kuromaru are tested at UQ headquarters to join. They only need to hit one of the numbered UQHOLDERs. Tota's opponent is Karen, Kuromaru is Gengoru. Tota tries to surprise Karen with a quick attack when the exam begins, but she predicts every move. After failing time and time again, he grows frustrated. Meanwhile, Kuromaru fails to strike Gengoru. Tota and Kuromaru encounter Shinobu while plotting their next move. Then they meet UQHOLDER Jinbi. Tota lifts a sword at Jinbi's command. Jinbi is impressed and decides to train him. They begin their mission on the last day of training. Kuromaru defeats Gengoru while Tota struggles. When Tota is about to triumph, Shinobu gets attacked. He immediately quits the battle to rescue her. Tota didn't complete, but his heroics were remembered. Yukihime tasks Tota, Kuromaru, and Karen. The goal is to go to the village and protect the civilians from enemies. In the village, UQHOLDERs rest in an orphanage. Next morning, they arm wrestle to decide who will make breakfast. Unfortunately for Tota, he loses all the rounds and has to cook. Karen tells Tota to do flash steps to improve at arm wrestling. Tota meets a martial artist who teaches him how to flash step. The martial artist says to use his legs for everything. Tota practices at home to get better. Their enemies plan to burn the village. They start by killing UQHOLDER guards. They distracted Karen while burning the village. Tota's opponent is the marshal who later revealed his name, Kaito, who taught him to flash step. Tota is immobilized by Kaito's magic, so Kuromaru confronts Marshall and a blind swordsman. When Tota regains consciousness, he uses Magia Erebia. He nearly kills Kaito, but he lets him go. Kuromaru likes Tota but hides it. Kuromaru doesn't want them to know, but he's jealous of Tota and Shinobu. Karen finds that Kuromaru is from a tribe where children under 16 have no gender. After knowing this, Karen tells Kuromaru to pick female. A UQHOLDER named Iku overhears Karen and Kuromaru and offers help. He disguises Kuromaru and has him date Tota. This plan helps Kuromaru decide whether to date Tota as a man or a woman. Kuromaru approves and tries to execute the strategy. She pretends to be Kuromaru's cousin, Karyu, and meets Tota. Kuromaru and Tota went city dating. Tota is thrilled to enter the tower since this has been his goal, but they were interrupted by a shadow magician and four-armed man. Shadow magician immobilizes Tota, leaving Kuromaru to fight. In the meantime, Kyrie, one of the immortals with a special power, is introduced, and it's shown that she can reset time. She talks privately with Tota. The Shadow Wizard attacked Kiri as they were talking, murdering her instantaneously. Kiri uses her abilities at the last second to go back before Tota and Kuromaru's date. Tota and Kiri revisited the attack site. This time, Tota stops the Shadow Wizard from killing Kiri. After his success, Kiri tells Tota that the strongest mage in the world, named Fate Aventurus, is after him for kidnapping. Before Tota's grandpa Negi Springfield passed away, Fate Aventurus was a true savior of humanity. Fate became a threat to humanity after Negi's death. Now they're planning to defeat Fate. Tota yells that a terrorist is in the tower to restore their strategy. Karen and Tota used the commotion to destroy Fate Aventurus, but he's too strong. Tota resolves to face Fate Aventurus one-on-one after Kiri, their trump card, is scared by him. Tota distracts the magician so Kiri can undo the enchantment. Aventurus, Tota, Karen, Iku, and Kuromaru enter the cave. Yukihime awaits them in the cave. She convinced them to accept Fate, but they refused. Fate seizes the opportunity to answer whatever inquiry people have to gain their trust. Iku questions Fate about his goal to seize Tota. Fate says he needed Tota to save Negi Springfield. Then Tota asks about his parents' death to end the conversation. Fate replies that he did kill his parents. Angry and bitter, Tota tries to beat up Fate, but is interrupted by his grandfather who uses telepathy to communicate with him. Over time, Kiri grows to like Tota. Tota seeks to learn the truth about his grandfather, but he's frustrated. He meets Shinobu, who makes him tea to calm him down. Calm down, Shinobu has a guest named Mizore. Mizore fights Tota but loses quickly. She then asks Tota to marry her, but he declines. Next day, Mizore serves Tota breakfast and dresses as Shinobu. Meanwhile, Kuromaru, Kirie, and Shinobu watch from afar. The girls were feeling jealous. Yukihime asks Tota to talk the next day. He meets her that night and explains how he was made and why he doesn't remember his parents. Tota is a clone of Negi Springfield, the only one of 72 to inherit his particular powers. Tota is devastated to learn he's a clone. Yukihime tells him his grandfather was possessed by the mage of the beginning. Mizore takes him to the once-a-year Mahora martial arts tournament to console him. Tota always wanted to compete, but the fighters were always pre-selected. Luckily for Tota, an unforeseen circumstance opened room for him in the competition. Negi Springfield, possessed by the mage of the beginning, set up the fight to weaken him and take his power for evil. In Shinobu's opinion, the headquarters of the UQHOLDER was too quiet. She ultimately chooses to join the crowd during the event. Yukihime smashes through the arena's protective barrier. Her goal was to get Tota. In an effort to rescue Tota, Kiri, Kuromaru, and Karen face intense resistance. A sneeze from Negi Springfield calms down the crowd. In battle, the demon who produced the gravity sword tried to trick Tota. He wanted Tota to join him. Tota thought he was showing his imagination and visions. Tota feels outraged when he learns it was a mind game. Meanwhile, Yukihime was beaten in battle. Yukihime utilizes a spell to even the combat after coming to. The fight remains arduous despite her efforts. Thankfully, Tota's grandma, Asuna, comes to the rescue. Yukihime couldn't believe Asuna was alive because she remembered her Mars sacrifice. Asuna helps them escape from the world the mage of the beginning created. She warns him Tota must survive 36 seconds against wizard mercenaries. After 37 seconds, he'll have the power to defeat the mage of the beginning. Following his grandmother's advice, he defeats most magician mercenaries. Yukihime and Fate unite with Tota to stop the wicked mage despite their hatred. Fate brings Tota to the actual Negi Springfield. He takes all their souls so they can defeat the wizard. Fate's strategy was likely to stop the mage from possessing anyone else, but it would mean sacrificing Negi Springfield, the mage's host. As mercenaries rejoin the fight, the strategy unfolds. Kiri arrives just before the magician kills Tota. Her distraction doesn't last long. The mage can't kill Kiri since she can restart. The wizard exploits Kiri's love for Tota to distract her, while Cutlass removes anything to kill her, including the suicide pill she put in her tooth. The mage doesn't realize Kiri's actions were a distraction before Tota's power was awakened. Negi's vulnerability, the high school ladies he taught, is shown to be his power. The wizard leaves Negi Springfield eventually. Then Tota confesses his love for Yukihime, but she rejects him. The anime ends.